For private operators, they're doing some of the same things. So let's be clear about that. When you're talking about private operators are managing satellites that are usually doing something that generates revenue for the company that owns the satellite. And they typically will have a space operations center, just like the government has space operations centers to manage their assets in space. And the Space Operations Center essentially has people, and those people's jobs are to fly the satellite, basically. And there's so much that goes into flying a satellite. There's avoiding collisions. That's a growing concern for satellites as space becomes more contested and congested. There's also things like just powering up the satellite by pointing the solar panels to the sun. There's making sure that the satellites, if you have a constellation of 5 or 10 satellites, that they're properly distributed in a way that collects the maximum amount of information that you're trying to collect, or whatever it is that the mission is for that satellite. There's all types of operations that you need to do day in and day out to make sure your satellite is doing what it's supposed to do to make money for you. And if you look at today's environment, the average amount of money that the average commercial operator is spending is about $909,000 per year to operate a satellite. That's the cost. And that cost is going to go up as space becomes more congested and more contested. It's just something that's harder and harder to do. It's, think of planes flying around the sky, and you have air traffic controllers, and the more planes there are, the more air traffic controllers you need. It just becomes harder and harder and harder to do. Well, in space, that's an exponential problem. So space operators buy essentially data from companies like ours in order to do mission planning, and they buy data from companies like ours to determine whether or not there's other objects that they need to be concerned about if they're going to make a maneuver in space. And we are looking to provide them with better and better information and more information driven by artificial intelligence to essentially help them do their job.